How to fillet a flat fish? Well, we begin using a flexible knife like one of these. We then get our fish, take a look at it, make sure the quality is as it needs to be. We can see here that this fish has been mostly gutted, except for these pieces. Double check, and it looks good. Next thing, I'm feeling to see if there are any loose scales. Looks pretty good at this point. And let's begin. First, we take our knife, we run it diagonally right next to the gills, and I cut through that first fillet. I'm then flipping the fish over, and notice the spine. The spine is my key indicator here. I'm taking the tip of my knife, and I'm making sure it's staying on one side of the fish, using the tip of my knife to make a cut along the spine, and be sure that you're pressing against the ribs. We want to make sure that we remove as much of the fish fillet as we can. We don't want to leave it on the bones. Okay, I kind of periodically keep peeking. I'm opening up the fish like a book so I can see inside. And I run my knife all the way down to the belly. I'm wiggling, and that fillet is off. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We're going to take the fillet knife. We are going to run it diagonally next to the gills, going up towards that spine again. Same thing, we're using the tip of the knife, running it along the spine. We should be feeling some resistance against the ribs. A couple of fish scales flying off. And then we begin doing longer strokes, being sure that we are removing as much flesh as we can, that we're not leaving it on the carcass. I'm using one hand to kind of pull the fish to give myself some resistance, and second fillet off. We'll go ahead and remove that carcass, save that for stock, wipe the board real quick. Now let's do a little bit of trim work. You can see here we have some bones and some skin that was from the belly, so we're just going to angle our knife in between the bones, run it along the flesh, keeping as much of the flesh on the fillet as we can, and it's off. Let's go ahead and move that up. We will now get the other fillet, do the same thing, a little bit of trim work here. Any bone that may be attached, any unsightly pieces, sometimes there's some blood. Go ahead and carefully trim that off. Again, being very gentle, and we know that the fish is delicate. Okay, now notice I need to begin to remove the skin. I'm taking the tail part to the tapered end. It's on my left, using my right hand to kind of jimmy it in between, using my left hand to grab the skin, and notice I'm pulling, wiggling the knife. When I turn it over, clean. We can trim off any small bits of skin that are still attached. We also want to pretty it up just a bit. We may need to do a little bit of trim work just to streamline the shape. Let's do the next one. Storing that on ice until we need it again. Same thing, tapered end is going to the left. I'm using my right hand to hold the knife, left hand to grab that skin. Notice I'm pulling while I wiggle up and down. And skin is off. Let's take a look at it. Pretty clean. Small piece of skin there, which I can go ahead here and remove in a second after I do some trim work. Being careful just to remove a little bit. This trim work will streamline the shape, make it more aesthetically pleasing. Also get rid of any scraggly bits we may see. And a beautiful fillet